The death of a loved one leaves behind more than just an empty space. It leaves a trail of fear, doubt, and unanswered questions. For Lyndy, the pain of losing Ty is more than just grief. It's a constant fear that haunts her every waking moment. It's not just the sorrow of missing him, it's the terrifying thought that the world she once knew could slip away, leaving her vulnerable and alone. What happens when the person who was your rock, your protector, is no longer there to shield you from the storm? Let's dive into the heartbreaking reason why Lyndy is afraid of everything after Ty's death. Lyndy's world has become a constant echo of silence. The house that was once filled with laughter, the sound of Ty's voice, the quiet hum of life, now feels like a haunting reminder of what she's lost. The air is heavy, and every room feels colder than the last. It's the kind of silence that wraps around you like a shroud, thick and suffocating, making it hard to breathe. Every step she takes through the house feels like a reminder that she's not the same person she was before. The first morning after Ty's passing is the hardest for Lyndy. She wakes up, but it feels like she's never really awake. The bed, once a place of comfort and warmth, now feels like a prison. The weight of the blanket seems to press her down, as though the very fabric of her life is now holding her in place, refusing to let her move on. Her hand reaches out instinctively to the other side of the bed, but it's empty. Ty's side, once warm, is now cold and still. Lyndy's eyes scan the room, trying to grasp onto something familiar. She catches sight of the framed photo on the nightstand, the one of her and Ty laughing together at the ranch. It feels like a lifetime ago. Her fingers trace the edges of the frame, as if touching it could bring him back. But it doesn't. The silence is deafening. And with it comes a flood of emotions she's been trying to push away. Fear, grief, loneliness. As she gets out of bed, her feet hit the floor, and the first thing she notices is the emptiness. It's everywhere. The house feels larger, somehow. Her footsteps seem to echo through the halls, reminding her of just how alone she is. Even the animals seem to sense the change. The horses, once so familiar, now seem distant. It's like they too are mourning Ty's absence. Lyndy moves through the house mechanically, as if on autopilot. She picks up a cup, stares at it for a moment, and then sets it down again. She walks into the kitchen, but nothing feels right. She opens the fridge, staring blankly at the contents. But none of it feels like home. Every sound, the creak of the floorboards, the hum of the refrigerator, even the faint sound of the wind outside feels like it's mocking her. When she steps outside, the sunlight hits her face, but it feels harsh, too bright. It's as if the world is moving on, but she's stuck in the past, unable to move forward. Her eyes scan the horizon, looking for something, anything that might remind her of the life she once had. But all she sees is the vast emptiness of the world stretching out before her in the distance. She can hear the sound of a horse's hooves on the ground. It's a familiar sound, one she once loved. But today, it sends a shiver down her spine. She watches as a horse trots by, but instead of feeling comforted, she feels a sense of dread. The sound of hooves, once so soothing, now reminds her of the fragility of life, the fleeting nature of everything she's known. And that's when it hits her, the realization that nothing is safe anymore. The world, once a place of certainty, has become a terrifying unknown. Ty was her anchor, her constant, the person who made everything feel okay. But now, he's gone. And with him, it feels like everything else could slip away at any moment. Lyndy stands frozen, the weight of it all crashing down on her. She wants to scream, to run, to do something, anything to escape this feeling. But instead, she just stands there, paralyzed by the silence, by the fear, by the loss. In that moment, she understands something profound, something that will stay with her for a long time. Fear isn't just about what you can see. It's about what you can't. It's the fear of losing more, of being alone in a world that no longer feels like home. It's the kind of fear that makes every step feel like it could be your last. Every moment a reminder that life is fragile, and everything can change in an instant. And so, Lyndy's journey begins. Not with acceptance, but with a desperate, aching fear of what the future holds. The silence will remain with her, a constant companion until she learns to face it head-on. But for now, all she can do is exist in this moment, frozen in time. Trying to make sense of a world that no longer feels safe, Lyndy's fear doesn't just creep in during the quiet moments. It haunts her in the spaces where life used to be full of joy. In places where memories once lived like fireflies in the warm summer air. Now, those places feel like abandoned ruins, standing still but offering no comfort. The barn, once a place of hard work and laughter, has become a place of dread. It's where Ty's presence used to linger like a gentle whisper in the breeze, and now it's just empty. This morning, Lyndy hesitates as she walks past the barn. Her hand trembles as it brushes against the doorframe. A flood of memories crashes over her. Ty laughing as he worked alongside her, his calming presence when the horses needed care. She swallows hard, fighting back the tears that threaten to break free. She doesn't know why she's afraid to go inside. There's no logical reason, no real danger, but every inch of her body tells her to turn away. Inside, the barn is eerily still. The horses, though still familiar, feel like strangers to her now. She stands in the doorway, frozen, unsure of whether she's ready to face this part of her life without Ty by her side. The animals graze quietly, unaware of her internal struggle, but their gentle movements seem to mock her, reminding her of how simple things once felt. Before the world turned upside down, her mind flashes back to a morning not long before Ty passed. They'd worked side by side in the barn, each of them lost in their own tasks. The sunlight streamed through the open doors, casting a warm glow on everything it touched. Ty had smiled at her, his hands covered in hay, his face light with contentment. "We've got this," he had said, his voice steady and reassuring. But now, standing in the same spot, Lyndy can't shake the feeling that everything is different. It's not just the emptiness of the barn, but the fact that she feels like she's losing control of her own life. The barn should be a place of peace, a place she knows well, but it's become a space where her fear amplifies, where the ghosts of the past feel too present to ignore. She forces herself to step inside, her heart pounding in her chest. Each creak of the floorboards beneath her feels like an echo of a time she can never return to. The sight of Ty's old work boots by the door makes her throat tighten. She's certain she's never going to wear them again. Never going to laugh alongside him while they care for the animals together. That feeling, the simple joy of doing something mundane with someone you love, feels like a lifetime ago. Lyndy reaches out, her hand brushing the worn leather of his boots. A wave of panic crashes over her. She's afraid to even touch his things, afraid that doing so will make her realize how completely she's lost him. But as her fingers graze the leather, something inside of her snaps. It's not anger or frustration, but a deep, overwhelming sadness. She collapses to her knees in the straw, the tears she's been holding back flooding her face. "I don't know how to do this without you, Ty," she whispers, her voice cracking with grief. She clutches the boots to her chest, as though they could somehow bring him back. But they don't. And in the stillness of the barn, she realizes that nothing will ever bring him back. Not the boots, not the barn, not even the memories. The fear that has been gnawing at her grows stronger in that moment, suffocating her. She's afraid of what comes next. Afraid of moving on. Afraid of facing a world that seems so fragile, so easily broken. The barn was once a place of certainty when Ty was there. Everything felt solid. But now it's a place that holds only the ghosts of yesterday as she stands up. Wiping the tears from her eyes, Lyndy knows she can't stay here much longer. She can't face the weight of the past without feeling like she's sinking into it. The fear of losing more, of losing herself in the memories, is too much to bear. She takes one last look around the barn, then turns to leave, the door creaking shut behind her. In that moment, the silence returns. It's heavier than before. The barn stands as a silent witness to her pain, to her fear of moving forward. But Lyndy knows that avoiding these places, the places where Ty's memory is strongest, won't make the fear go away. If anything, it will only make it worse. Yet, she's not ready to face it. Not yet. As she walks away from the barn, her steps slow, each one filled with uncertainty. Her fear is like a shadow that follows her, never far behind. But the more she tries to outrun it, the more it consumes her. It's clear that Lyndy's journey isn't just about learning to live. Without Ty, it's about learning how to live with the fear that his absence is left behind. But that's a lesson she's not ready to learn just yet. Every day, Lyndy wakes up to the same gnawing uncertainty. The world spins around her, but she feels like she's standing still, lost in a fog of fear that clouds her every thought. It's not just the empty spaces left by Ty's absence. It's the weight of everything she feels she's now responsible for, things she's not sure she can handle without him. The ranch, once a shared dream between them, feels like a massive burden she has to carry on her own. Her first attempt to ride the horses after Ty's death feels like a trial she isn't prepared for. She stands in the barn, staring at the familiar faces of the horses, but nothing feels familiar anymore. The saddle looks heavier than it used to, and the reins seem to twist in her hands like they're trying to slip away. There's a strange resistance in the air, as though the horses can sense her fear. Lyndy reaches for one of the horses, a gentle mare named Willow, who had always been calm and patient with her. But today, even Willow seems different. The bond they shared feels frayed, like something fragile that might break if she isn't careful. She runs her hand down the mare's side, trying to find comfort in the familiar touch, but it doesn't come. The fear rises again, squeezing her chest, making it hard to breathe. She closes her eyes, willing herself to calm down, but it's no use. The fear isn't just about the horses. It's about everything. It's about the way the world feels unpredictable now. The way everything she thought was certain has suddenly been ripped away. She hesitates at the mounting block. Normally, getting on a horse was second nature to her. It was a partnership, a connection that felt effortless. But now, it feels like a battle. Her heart pounds in her chest as she grips the saddle, her mind racing with thoughts of what could go wrong. What if something happens? What if she falls? What if somehow the horses sense her fear and react in ways she can't control? She's paralyzed by what-ifs. The sense of dread creeps in like a shadow, overshadowing her every move. Her knees feel weak, and for a moment she wonders if she's lost the courage she once had. She looks over at the barn door, the sunlight pouring in from outside. She wonders if it would be easier to just walk away, to leave it all behind. But deep down, she knows that running isn't the answer. Avoiding the horses, avoiding the ranch, it won't make her fear go away. It'll only grow stronger. With a deep breath, she swings her leg over the saddle, but the movement feels clumsy. It's not fluid like it used to be. She's stiff, unsure, every muscle in her body tensed with fear. As she settles onto the horse, she feels the weight of it both physically and emotionally. The horse beneath her shifts, and the ground seems to tilt, throwing her off balance for a split second. Panic spikes through her, and she grips the reins tighter, trying to steady herself. The world around her spins, and for a moment, she thinks she might fall. Her mind flashes back to the last time she rode with Tai. Easy it was for him to guide her, to make her feel safe. He was always there, always steady. Now, the fear of being alone, of losing control, grips her like a vice. But in that moment, something shifts. Willow takes a slow, steady step forward, and Lyndy, despite herself, follows. The world around her feels blurry, the noise of the ranch fading into the background. It's just her and the horse, moving together, one step at a time. She can't think about the future or what-ifs. She can only think about right now. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. Her grip on the reins loosens slightly. And for the first time since Ty's death, Lyndy feels a flicker of something that resembles peace. It's small, barely noticeable, but it's there. As she rides, the fear doesn't disappear, it's still there, lurking in the back of her mind. But for the first time, she doesn't let it control her. She moves with Willow, steadying her breath, reminding herself that she can do this. She can face her fears, step by step. Even if she doesn't have all the answers, the ride doesn't last long, but it's enough. As Lyndy dismounts, her legs feel shaky, her heart still racing. But there's a sense of accomplishment, small victory, in taking control of the fear that has ruled her life since Ty's death. The fear hasn't disappeared, but it no longer has the same grip on her. She knows the road ahead won't be easy, There will be days when the fear will return stronger than ever, but today, she took a step forward. And that's enough. As she walks away from Willow, her steps feel a little lighter. It's a small change, but it's a change nonetheless. She doesn't know if she's ready to face everything that comes with Ty's death, but today, she knows she's one step closer to finding her way back. There are moments when Lyndy feels like she can almost hear Ty's voice, just on the edge of her awareness. It's like a soft murmur that drifts through the corners of her mind, just enough to make her turn and look, expecting him to be there. But when she does, there's only emptiness, and the weight of that absence presses in harder than ever. The world seems to have frozen in place around her and in the stillness. The past lingers like an unfinished sentence. It's a quiet evening when the memory hits her hardest. The ranch is bathed in the soft glow of twilight, the golden light spilling over the fields in long shadows. The sound of the wind rustling through the trees is the only noise in the air. It's peaceful, almost too peaceful. But as Lyndy stands by the fence, her mind drifts back to the time she spent with Ty right here. Under the same sky, they'd spent countless evenings like this, just the two of them, sitting quietly on the porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon. They didn't need words. Just being in each other's company was enough. Ty had a way of making everything feel okay, like the world could fall apart and he'd still be there, steady as the stars above. "I'll always be here," he'd said once, his voice low but full of certainty. "No matter what happens, we'll be all right." The memory stirs something deep inside Lyndy, an ache she can't shake, a longing she can't fill. Her heart twists painfully, and she presses a hand to her chest, as if trying to hold herself together. It's been weeks since Ty's death, but it still feels as raw as the day it happened. The wound hasn't begun to heal, and the pain of missing him feels like a weight too heavy to carry. She can almost see him sitting beside her on the porch, the way he always used to, his arm resting casually on the railing, his eyes soft and full of warmth as he looked at her. That feeling, the certainty of his love, had been her anchor. It was the one thing she knew for sure, the one thing she could rely on. But now it's gone. Just like that, the world that once seemed so certain, so full of hope, is now filled with cracks and shadows. And no matter how much she tries to hold on to the past, it slips away like sand through her fingers. The silence between them feels oppressive now. The space they once shared is filled with memories that don't seem to make sense anymore. Every corner of the ranch reminds her of the moments they had together. The rocking chair on the porch, where they'd sit side by side sharing quiet moments. The kitchen, where they'd laugh over coffee and simple meals. The barn, where they'd work together, their movements synchronized. Their bond unspoken but felt deeply in everything they did. And yet, all of it feels like it's slipping further and further out of reach. As much as she wants to hold on to those memories, to keep them alive, they're starting to feel like ghosts, intangible, fleeting, almost impossible to hold on to. The weight of this realization hits her harder than anything else. No matter how much she loves Ty, no matter how much she wants to bring him back, the reality is that he's gone. And the fear that comes with that fear of forgetting, fear of losing him in a world that keeps moving without him, threatens to swallow her whole. Lyndy's eyes close for a moment, and she takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She can still feel Ty's presence, like a faint warmth that lingers in the air, but it's fading, and it terrifies her. The thought that the love they shared, the life they built together, might eventually fade into just another memory, like so many other lost things, is a thought too painful to bear. But then, as the wind shifts, she hears a sound soft, familiar, like Ty's laugh in the distance. It's not real, not in the way she wants it to be, but it feels like a fleeting moment of connection. For a split second, she imagines him standing there beside her, his hand resting on the fence, looking out over the ranch, just like they used to, in that brief moment. Lyndy understands something she's been resisting. It's okay to miss him. It's okay to grieve, to let the memories come rushing back and feel the pain of losing him. But she also knows that the love they shared is something that will never truly fade. It's not something that can be erased by time or distance or even death. It lives on in her, in the way she moves through the world, in the way she'll carry him with her for the rest of her life. But it doesn't make the fear any easier to bear. The fear that the love she feels for him might be swallowed by the overwhelming silence of the world without him. The fear that she might not be able to carry on, that the weight of the loss will break her. And yet, despite the fear, there's a spark of something else inside. Her something that refuses to let go of the belief that somehow she can keep moving forward. Lyndy wakes up to a world that feels just a little bit too big for her to handle. It's a strange thing when Ty was alive. She never noticed how much space there was between her and the rest of the world. But now, every step she takes, every moment she spends in the day, feels like she's walking on a tightrope, unsure if she'll fall off or make it to the other side. The weight of it all is almost unbearable, this invisible chain of fear that seems to tighten with every passing day. The fear doesn't have a face, doesn't have a clear shape. It's not something she can point to or even explain to anyone else. It's just ... there. It's the way her chest tightens when someone mentions something in passing. Or how her hands shake when she picks up the phone, afraid of hearing bad news. Afraid that someone else she loves will be taken away from her too. It's the dread that fills her when the phone rings late at night or when she sees a dark cloud on the horizon. It's the constant worry that everything she holds dear could vanish in an instant. Just like Ty did today, it manifests in the simplest of tasks. Lyndy has to go into town to pick up some supplies, but she's standing in front of the truck, her hand frozen on the door handle. She knows it's something she's done 100 times before. Driving into town, making the trip alone, no problem. But today, the world feels different. Every time she imagines herself on the road, the thoughts rush in. What if something happens? What if she doesn't make it back? What if the car breaks down in the middle of nowhere and no one's there to help? It sounds irrational even to her. She tries to push the thoughts away, tries to reason with herself. It's just a trip into town, she tells herself quietly. But it doesn't help. The fear is too strong, wrapping itself around her like a dark cloud, drowning out any logic or reassurance she tries to cling to. She looks over at the horses, grazing quietly by the fence. It's the kind of sight that used to make her feel grounded, but today, it only adds to the weight. She's afraid of the horses too now. She's afraid of getting too close, of riding again, of reliving the memory of Ty on horseback, that feeling of freedom and joy. The thought of losing control, of being thrown, of falling, of being vulnerable and powerless makes her stomach churn. Lyndy grips the door handle harder, her knuckles white. She wants to get in the truck, wants to just drive and put the fear behind her, but her body refuses to cooperate. It's like there's an invisible force holding her back, keeping her rooted in place, making her feel small and trapped. And that's the problem. The fear doesn't let her breathe. It takes everything she once loved and turns it into a potential danger, a risk. It takes the things she used to enjoy, the ranch, the animals, even the quiet moments with her family, and twists them into sources of anxiety and dread. It makes every step forward feel like a dangerous leap into the unknown, like she could lose everything with a single misstep. Her hands tremble as she finally lets go of the door handle, her heart hammering in her chest. She steps back from the truck and leans against the fence, staring at the ground. She's trying to make sense of the overwhelming wave of panic that's consuming her. She feels so small, so helpless, like a part of her is missing. Like she's adrift in a world that no longer feels safe. It's not just the fear of losing more loved ones, though that's a huge part of it. It's the fear of being alone, of facing the world without Ty. The fear that no matter what she does, no matter how hard she tries, she'll never be able to fill the emptiness he left behind. Lyndy takes a shaky breath and looks up at the sky. The sun is setting, casting a soft glow over the ranch. The world is beautiful, as always, but it feels like a place she no longer belongs. The quiet hum of life, the wind in the trees, the rustling of the leaves seems to mock her. The world continues, unchanging, but she's stuck. She's paralyzed by the fear that everything is fragile. Everything could fall apart at any moment. And that's when it hits her. She can't keep living like this. She can't let fear control her every move, every breath. But how does one let go of something that feels so all-consuming, so deeply embedded in the soul? How does one confront a fear that is not of the world itself, but of the void left behind by someone they loved. Lyndy turns back to the truck, her mind swirling with conflicting thoughts. She can't keep running away from the things that scare her. She can't keep avoiding the world, hiding behind the walls she's built inside her head. The fear is real, but it's not her entire reality. She's not alone. She has her family, the ranch, the animals, everything she's ever cared about. And yet in this moment, it feels like nothing is certain, like everything is slipping through her fingers. With a deep breath, Lyndy forces herself to open the truck door and slide into the driver's seat. The fear still hangs over her, but she knows she can't let it win. She starts the engine, her hands gripping the steering wheel tightly, but she doesn't let go. She's not going to let fear keep her trapped anymore as she drives out of the ranch and into town. Lyndy doesn't know if the fear will ever fully go away, but today she chooses to move forward anyway. One step at a time, the mornings have started to blend together for Lyndy. It's the same rhythm. Wake up, sit in silence, try to breathe through the overwhelming weight in her chest, and then face another day that feels just as heavy as the one before. There's no clear turning point, no moment when she feels like she's getting better. Each day is a struggle. Each hour feels like a battle against the fear that seems to have taken over every part of her life. It's a late afternoon when the breaking point comes. Lyndy's standing by the barn, her fingers wrapped around the cold metal of the gate. The horses are restless, tossing their heads, pawing at the ground. Something is off. There's a shift in the air, an unease that she can't explain. She's always been able to read the animals, to understand their moods. But today it's different. Today, everything feels out of control. The sound of hooves against the dirt is a steady thud. It's a rhythm that once comforted her, but now it only amplifies her anxiety. The noise is louder, too overwhelming. The horses aren't calm like they usually are. They're edgy, sensing something just as she is. It's like the earth itself is restless. It's waiting for something to break. She takes a step back, instinctively reaching for the fence for support. The world starts to spin around her, the fear creeping up her spine, tightening her chest until it feels like she can't breathe. The familiar sense of unease from the past few weeks rushes in like a flood. This suffocating fear that has been growing within her since Ty's death. It's not just the loss of him, it's the loss of her sense of security, her sense of safety in a world that feels like it's constantly shifting beneath her feet. Lyndy's heart starts to race, and she presses her hand harder against the fence, as if trying to ground herself. Her legs feel like they're made of stone, unmovable, even though she wants to run to escape. She can't breathe, she can't think. The world is closing in around her. And in that moment, it all becomes too much. The panic is overwhelming. Her body freezes, caught in the grip of a fear that feels as though it might swallow her whole. She starts shaking, her teeth clenched, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. Not again. Not again, she whispers to herself, over and over, as though repeating the words could make the fear go away. But it doesn't. The fear tightens its grip, suffocating her, paralyzing her in place. It's not just the panic that overwhelms her, it's the helplessness. She feels like she's failing. Failing herself? Failing Ty? Failing the ranch? It's too much to handle, and she feels like she's losing control of everything. She collapses onto her knees, her head spinning, and for a moment, it feels like the world is going to swallow her whole. It's in this moment, in the depth of her panic, that Lyndy feels the sharp sting of a reality she's been trying to deny. She can't do this alone. The realization strikes her like a cold wave. She's been fighting this battle in silence, trying to push through, trying to hold it all together, thinking that if she just kept going, she would find her way out of the darkness. But the truth is, she's been sinking deeper into it. And that's the moment she understands. She can't heal by pretending everything is okay. She can't just keep burying the fear and hoping it will disappear. Tears fill her eyes as she stares at the ground, the weight of it all crashing down on her. Her shoulders tremble with the force of it. The panic isn't just physical. It's the emotional toll of pretending to be strong when she's breaking inside. It's the fear that she'll never be able to move past Ty's death, that she'll never be able to heal from the trauma of losing him. But even in the darkest moment, a small voice whispers within her. It's the part of her that's still fighting, still hoping, still willing to take one more step forward. It's the part of her that knows this breakdown is not the end, but a beginning. A beginning of facing the fear head-on. The sun is low in the sky, casting a warm golden light over the ranch, but for Lyndy, the world feels a little less dark. The overwhelming panic that had gripped her just moments ago is still there, lurking beneath the surface. But for the first time in weeks, it feels a little more manageable. The weight isn't as heavy, and the space between the fear and her heart has widened just enough to breathe. She's sitting on the porch now, wrapped in a blanket, her hands cupped around a warm mug of tea. Her eyes are red from crying, but there's a calmness to her that hasn't been there for a long time. She's still recovering from the chaos inside her mind, but something has shifted. That tiny glimmer of hope, the one that flickered so faintly when she reached out for help, is beginning to grow. Amy arrives soon after Lyndy sent the message, concern written across her face as she steps onto the porch. But instead of overwhelming Lyndy with questions or advice, Amy simply sits beside her, offering silent support. She doesn't push, doesn't try to fix things in a hurry. She's just there. Her presence a steady reminder that Lyndy doesn't have to carry this burden alone anymore. "I don't know what to do," Lyndy whispers, her voice barely audible as she stares into the mug in her hands. "It feels like I'm breaking, Amy. I don't know how to fix myself." Amy doesn't answer immediately. She takes a deep breath and places a gentle hand on Lyndy's shoulder. "You don't have to fix yourself. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just need to keep going, one step at a time." Lyndy nods, though the weight of those words is still heavy. One step at a time. It sounds simple, but it feels monumental. How do you take the first step when the ground beneath you feels so unstable? How do you face the fear that has paralyzed you for so long? But in that moment, surrounded by the quiet of the ranch and the warmth of Amy's presence, Lyndy realizes that it's not about solving everything all at once. It's not about erasing the pain or the fear. It's about acknowledging it, accepting that it exists, and then moving forward. Despite it, the next morning, Lyndy wakes up with a renewed sense of purpose. It's small, just a slight shift, but it's enough. She stands by the window for a moment, taking in the view of the ranch, the wide-open fields, the animals grazing peacefully, the sky still tinged with the first light of dawn. It's the same world it's always been, but today, she feels a little more connected to it. She decides to take a walk, her feet crunching against the dirt path as she moves slowly toward the barn. The horses are grazing nearby, their peaceful presence offering her some comfort. For the first time in weeks, she feels a small sense of peace. The fear is still there, lurking beneath the surface, but it doesn't feel as suffocating. It feels more like a shadow, something that follows her, but doesn't control her every move. Lyndy walks into the barn, her heart pounding, but this time she doesn't hesitate at the door. She takes a deep breath, remembering what Amy said, one step at a time. She walks up to the nearest horse, a gentle mare named Willow, and rests her hand on the animal's side. It's a small gesture, but it feels like a victory. For a moment, she allows herself to just be here, in this moment, with no expectations. No pressure to be okay or fixed. It's just a small step forward. Later that afternoon, as Lyndy takes a slow ride through the fields, she feels a flicker of something that's been missing for so long, an almost imperceptible sense of joy. It's not the same joy she once felt when Ty was by her side, but it's a reminder that she is still capable of feeling something other than fear. The world, despite all its chaos and uncertainty, still holds moments of beauty. And for the first time in a long time, Lyndy feels like she's beginning to see them again. The fear doesn't vanish. It still sits in the back of her mind, waiting for the next moment of weakness, the next wave of uncertainty. But Lyndy knows now that it's okay to live with that fear. It doesn't define her, and it doesn't have to control her every choice. She's learning that healing isn't a straight path. It's a journey of taking small, imperfect steps toward reclaiming the life she once knew. As the sun sets that evening, Lyndy sits on the porch, her hands folded in her lap, a peaceful smile tugging at her lips. There's still a long road ahead, and the pain of losing Ty will never fully fade. But she's no longer walking that road alone. She has her family, her friends, and most importantly, she has herself learning to move forward, one step at a time. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.